Hello there, welcome to our DKW show. And I am so excited today because we are celebrating our inspirational women today. It's a very special time because it is Mother's Day. And we believe on DKW that women should be celebrated. Today we have some really wonderful women joining us today. We have Verena Leon, we have Yolanda Romay, and later on we are going to be having another chat with Serena, who you'll meet later on. I mean, for myself, I am a mother myself, and I know how important it is being a mother and that role that a mother plays within a family. And I think this is something that should be talked about. It should be celebrated, because without a mother, you know, it can cause a lot of difficulties with families not to have that key role model. I know with my own experience, when my mother departed, it was a time where the family almost separated because that role model, that bond had been taken from the family. So I think today we're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to have a fabulous time. We're even going to have some news on Naomi Campbell today, who basically, she's saying that she wants to be a mother, single mother, bringing up her own child on her own. I mean, what do we really think about that? Do you think that's on? And I'd love to hear from you. So today, let's join our Verena Leon. Welcome, Verena.
Hi, Son.
Welcome to DKW. It's lovely having you on today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And we're excited about you coming on today because we know that you're a mother of how many?
5.
5 children.
5 children.
So I know that has not been easy for you.
No, it hasn't.
But before we come to you, I just want to introduce our other presenter, Kim. Hi.
Hi, Sammy.
I'm so glad you're with me today. I'm always excited when you're with me. And our beautiful Yolanda. Hi, Yolanda. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to go back to our Verena. Verena, tell us, what has it been like being a mother?
Well, first of all, I have to say it's challenging, sometimes difficult. It's a life of sacrifice, but
Yes.
it's also wonderful to be a mother.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great blessing.
Yeah, I mean, you're actually going. I know we're quite close friends, so I know that you're going into 4 generations now.
Yes.
And you've recently had a beautiful granddaughter.
Yes.
Is this your first granddaughter?
First granddaughter, yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
did that feel?
Well, it's amazing because, I mean, the first time I saw her, it was just unbelievable. You know, the love I felt, it was just, you know, and it's very different as a grandmother when you pick up your grandchild. It's something that I just can't explain. It was just so exciting.
Amazing.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
lovely is that?
I know.
You know, I mean, I know that being a mother, it's not always easy. It's difficult because I have my own children. I'm a mother of 2, and I can tell you it has not been a bed of roses. And it, as you said, it does take sacrifices and hard work, and even worse if you're a single mother. And I know for myself, I've been a single mother in my life. I mean, now I'm happily married, but it wasn't easy. It was even harder being a single mother, even though some people say they don't need a male figure there.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us a little bit about your own life and your own experience, Verena.
Well, for me, I never planned on being a single mother. I think most women don't. I originally, you know, as a young girl, I always wanted to have a family, wanted to have a huge family, because I was coming from a very big family. Although I'm an only child, but I was coming from a big family because of my parents.
Right.
They had many siblings. So I wanted to have a huge family, and I wanted to get married, and I wanted to be a housewife. That was my dream. And I did get married at a young age. I think I was about 17. And by the age of 25, I had three daughters.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
Gosh, so how was that? I mean, you were happily married at that point.
At that point,
in your
yeah,
life.
because I got married to the man of my dream. He was my first boyfriend. You know, we grew up together. So, you know, yes, I was happy. And then one day, within the space of, I would say, 3 months, the love of my life turned into my enemy, basically.
Wow, so the relationship actually broke down.
It broke down.
And I mean, what was that experience all about?
Well, it was really strange, because recalling it now, I every time I recall this story, it is very difficult for me to really understand, because this person that I knew was my best friend, he just turned into a complete stranger, and within the space of 3 months, he fell into depression. He hated me, he hated our children, he became very abusive towards our children, he threatened to kill me, you know.
Wow, that's awful.
Yes, and in the end, I had to, the children and myself were placed in a refuge, and then we had a court hearing, and the hearing was basically about him moving out of the family home so that the children and myself could move back into the property. And what he did that night, he went to the petrol station, basically filled a petrol can with
You're
petrol.
joking.
Yes,
No.
he did. And he was shown on CCTV filling up the petrol can, putting it in the boot of his car. And I was told later on that he drove home, and what he did, he spread petrol all over the flat and bolted all the windows and doors. And actually, what he did, he created a bomb, because when he lit the place up, it just went up.
Was you actually in the property at the time?
No, we were in a refuge, the children.
You were in
and
the
I.
refuge at the time?
Yes.
That is
and
unbelievable.
he killed himself, burned the house down with all our clothes, all our furniture, with the children and I. You know, because when we were taken into the refuge, we went in without any clothes or anything.
Wow, unbelievable. So he actually wanted to destroy his life, but yours as well.
Well, yes.
He wanted to take the whole family out.
Yeah, his plan was, you know, the reason why we were taken into the refuge, because he attempted to kill me, and with a butcher's knife.
So your life was at risk.
It was at risk, and he wanted to also kill all of us, basically. That was his plan.
So he became very unwell.
Yeah, he became very unwell. And when that happened, you know, for me, I was devastated initially, because, you know, I was left homeless with my 3 young children. I mean, the last one was just a baby. The eldest child was 5 years old. You know, so 5, 2.5, and a baby.
I can't even imagine, you know, because to go through something like that, I mean, at that point, it must have been so traumatizing, devastating for you. But at the same time, as a mother, you were forced to kind of keep your mind in control, because you had the little ones still to look after.
Well, that's the thing. I think for me, the trigger for me was when I had to make burial arrangements, funeral arrangements for him. And then I went to the bank, and I was told that we had no money in the bank. We only had £1. And later on, I found out that he gambled our savings away.
Oh, no.
So for me, that was my trigger when I became so angry.
Of course.
I was angry at him. And I just felt, you know, this man, he really let me down and let his family down. And I just felt I needed now to step up and be a mother and a father to my children.
Right. And I think this is where where the decisions come in, because I mean, with some women, they may not have had the strength that you actually was able to find at that time, to find that strength to come back, basically, with the strength and support to take care of your children. I mean, how did you actually deal with that? You know, with young children, you know, being a woman who were dealing with the whole emotions of the whole event, but in fact, you did it. I mean, we can celebrate that now, because you did actually do it. You overcame. You fought your way through, and you went through all the challenges, and was able to bring your children up. And I must tell the viewers today, you may not know, but this is our presenter, Gemma, and Shireen, this is their mother. So, I mean, Gemma and Shireen, you can see that they have grown up to be absolutely wonderful women today.
Yeah.
You know, and you've done a really good job, you know, and I have to congratulate you,
Thank you.
for that. But growing them up, I know you had the other children as well. How did you go through step by step, having to make decisions to go through? Because that is a long journey.
Yeah. Well, women, we tend to surprise people, don't we? You know, I think we are very strong and we have this internal strength that we can pull out whenever we want to. And for me, just looking at my children, I just felt I need to be strong for my children. I felt, well, you know, their father, he's let them down. There was no way I'm going to let my children down. So what I did, I went off and I educated myself.
Wow.
I was studying. I went to university, did a law degree, then went to law school. I did the barrister's final.
That is amazing.
And I was working at the same time. You know, my children was being sent to school and picked
Yes.
up from school by my mom. And I was working and studying at the same time. And you know what? I was able, just looking at my children, I was able to do it. I was able to provide for my children. They never lacked anything. My children will tell you, growing up, they had the best of everything growing up. Because I had that strength. Because looking at them, I just thought, you don't have a father, and I'm going to make sure that you never miss your father, that you never get a reason to say, if only my father was here. So I was there for my children emotionally. I provided for them emotionally, physically, and also later on spiritually I helped them. So I think that's one of the values of a woman.
Yes, definitely. I know you're hungry to come in here, Kim. Come on. I know you've got questions.
I think one of my questions would be, V, seeing that this happened with yourself and you were able to get the strength, how did it affect the children? Did they have times when they felt a bit down? How did you deal with their emotions?
I think because I was fortunate because the children were so young. I think the only one who actually remembered the event was Shireen, because the night before he killed himself, he called Shireen and he said, no matter what, remember, I will always love you, which is a strange kind of love for me.
Yeah.
You know, but those were his words to her, and she can recall that conversation with him, and she can recall the aftermath of what he did, because she was about 5 years old. But the other children, like Melissa and Gemma was a baby, you know, she's got no recollection of him at all. And Melissa, very little recollection. I mean, it affected Melissa when she got older. When she got older, because she was always very emotional. She was a very emotional child. So when she got older, she wanted to know about her father. And when she was told that he died, and she would always try to have a bond with him, knowing that he was already dead. But that was something that she always battled with.
Yes.
You know.
And also for you, I know, because I'm married and I've got children, and sometimes we need some space for ourselves, someone to be our kind of strength. And seeing as your husband wasn't there, what did you use for your strength?
I think, to be honest, I have to be completely honest and say my strength was my children. The fact that my children needed me, and I needed to be there for my children. And I never anticipated that I would have become a single woman with 3 children to look after. And I also felt that because I was so angry with my late husband about what he did, that gave me the strength to go on.
That is just amazing story. I mean, Verena, I just want to really thank you for coming in today and sharing this story. You know, I know it hasn't been easy, but I want to, we all want to congratulate you and thank you, because, you know, you have shown the power of a woman. You have shown that we can get through, no matter how traumatized we are as a woman. We do have the strength inside of us to pull through. After the break, we will have a talk with Yolanda, and you'll be able to hear her story as well. And we will have a chat. and enjoy the rest of our show. So we'll see you back after the break. Welcome back. Now we're going to have a little talk with our beautiful Yolanda. Hi, Yolanda.
Hello.
Welcome. Tell us a bit about, tell us about your story, because I know that you have two beautiful children, a daughter and a son. How old are they?
They're 16 and 7.
16 and 7 years old. And I know at the moment you're a single parent.
Yes.
But I'd like to hear your story. Tell us about your story.
Well, I'm from Spain, and I met my son's dad in Spain. He was from here. So because we wanted to be together, and I kind of wanted to run away from home and come to England.
Okay, because you were in love, was you?
Yeah. So he promised me the world, and it was fantastic because I didn't have a very good upbringing in Spain. So I said, yeah, this is my way out. So I came to England.
Did you actually have the children already from Spain, or
No.
You had the children when you came over to England?
I got pregnant in Spain.
Right.
And I came. That was.
How old were you?
I was 19.
Okay.
So you're very young.
Teenager.
So he actually came here before you came over to join him?
No, we came, both of us. He was living there at that time because his dad is from there. So so we both came. He said, now that you're pregnant, you belong to me. So let's go to England.
You belong to him. Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite a strong statement.
Yeah.
Tell us, give us a little bit more idea of what happened with your relationship.
So yeah, we came to England, but obviously he always had kind of problems with drugs and alcohol. But while he was with me, because we went, I broke up with him a few times because of that. Then he promised me, no, I want you more than drugs and alcohol. So he stopped. So, but when we came, obviously we didn't have anywhere to stay. We stayed with his parents, and his parents were in a bad situation as well. So when we came, he had to work, and his parents had to work, had to provide for us as well, had to help us. We were in a very small house. So I was most of the time I was by myself at home. And I wouldn't come out because I didn't know anyone, and I didn't know England.
Did you speak English at the time?
I didn't. I couldn't understand. I went to private lessons and everything, but when I got here, I didn't understand any English.
That must have had quite a big impact on you.
Yeah.
Even having to move from place to place and not having that sense of security behind you. And obviously the partner that you had at the time wasn't giving you, that 100% support.
Yeah.
Did the relationship break down, and what happened? I know in your case the relationship broke down.
Yeah.
And you became a single mother.
Yeah.
Which must have been really hard. I know for some single mothers who I give advice to, they struggle because it's not easy when there's not two parents there having to take care and support you. It can be difficult. What was your experience with this?
Well, I was always very insecure, but when I was here, he started to not coming back home on the weekends. We kept arguing all the time in front of his parents. I was by myself. I got really depressed. And once the child was born, it was like, this is it. This is my world now. And I forgot totally about him. I totally started ignoring him. So I said, this is my child. I can do anything now because I've got my child and I've got something to fight for and because of the pride as well, I wouldn't ask for help to my parents or anything like that because I escaped. I ran away. So I had to deal with things.
But
And,
did you run away from him? Was he abusing you? Was it was it the simple fact that he wasn't supporting you, and you decided, okay, he's not supporting me, I'm gonna pack up and run away? What was the reasons deeply behind why you felt that you needed to get away from this man?
So when I had to leave, Joey was 3 years old.
So he was quite young.
Yeah, I mean the little boy was 3 years old. So it was because we had lots of fights. It was just constantly fighting. I became like his mom as well, like telling him off all the time. He would come home, like shouting at him. He wouldn't. None of the family would back me up when I wanted to discipline my son. When I wanted to, not give him sweets. I wanted to have him a good upbringing like I had with discipline. And I wasn't able to because it was like the whole family against me.
So his family was actually against you?
Yeah, they love me and they provide a lot. They helped me a lot for all the time that I was with them, and I love them loads.
Yes.
But that support, it was like I was limited.
Yeah, you was limited. It was
like
with the support
for me,
that you could get, really,
I wasn't. Even for my own insecurities as well, it was like I couldn't be the mum that I wanted to be. It was pride as well. I wanted to be that mum. It was there for my son and do the things my way.
I mean, what was your biggest challenges?
So, that's when I left. I was working at the time part-time. I started to learn English, and I could speak, I could keep up a conversation. So that's when I took one day he just beat me. He pushed me against the wardrobe and left me be unconscious.
Wow,
so when I woke up,
Yolanda?
Oh, well, she said that very naturally. So he left you unconscious. So he
a little bit,
abused you.
it was a few seconds, but that scared me.
Yeah, so he abused you basically.
Yeah, but normally it was fights against each other.
It was constant fights with each other.
Both of us.
Yeah.
But that day, he really pushed me.
So it's like enough was enough at that particular time, and that was when you decided that you're leaving now.
So that day I took everything. On the next day I took everything, my luggage. When everybody was going to work, I took my son and everything, and I left the house without telling anyone again.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Kim, what do you have to say? I
mean,
know you look like you're dying to ask her.
I mean, she says it so blasé, but you said you packed up your stuff and you just left.
Yeah.
At this time, had you made contacts outside the house? Did you have friends?
Yeah, I had, because I had a part-time job.
Okay.
So I made. Joey was at nursery as well, so I had a few friends, Spanish friends as well. They helped me up, and they found a room for me. It was a very single room, just the bed and a single wardrobe will fit on it, and that's where we went, me and my son, with a Colombian family.
Right, so you became a single mother basically.
Yeah.
And I mean that couldn't have been easy for you. I mean, what would you actually say to single mothers that may be out there challenging the same things, trying to bring up their children on their own? I mean, what would you encourage them?
Well, it was really hard because I was depressed as well at the time. So what I did, I never accepted to be the way I was. I had to fight to get rid of depression, my insecurity. So I always look for help. I always look to do something. When I was left during the weekends, that he would still go to see his dad. It was like, for me, it was all darkness. I would just stay in my room crying and I wouldn't go out, but I came out of the situation because I said, no, I need to. It's like Miss Verena said, that you pull up that strength out of you because of your child. He needs you, and he didn't have anyone else if I wasn't there. Yeah, he had his grandparents and they helped quite a lot, and then his dad eventually he started helping as well. But it became on me because I grew up away from my mom as well. She wasn't there all the time and my dad wasn't. So I had that in my mind all the time, that I had to be there for my son. I had to bring him up. I had to give him that love because I never had that love. So I knew how much the children need that.
Needed you, yes. I mean, what motivated you? I mean, because I find that I mean, I've been a single mother myself, so I know how hard it is. And I know it's like an inner strength that you find, which it's almost like it's built within us mothers, don't you think, ladies? You know, and it's an inner strength that we have to find that inner strength. And it reaches a point where you have no choice. It's either you're going to leave your children to suffer, or you're going to take the challenge, you're going to, you know, find that assertiveness and you're going to do something about the situation, because you know that those children are helpless without us. You know, and I mean, that's basically what the situation is. I mean, Kim?
I mean, my question, I think this can go to the both of you a little bit. How important is it to have your own mother there to support you in situation? You said you ran away from home.
Yeah.
Was that because your own mother wouldn't have supported you in that situation?
Well, I thought she didn't, which after that, they, you know, my parents, Joey's grandparents also, they supported me a lot. But it was just me, because obviously my mum was in Spain. She was so it was just...
But would she have supported you if she knew what had happened?
Yeah, she would. She, at the beginning, she got really angry, she got really upset. But then, once the baby was born, I knew I can count on them.
That's right. And Miss Free, what about your mum? Did your mum support you through the situation that you went through?
Oh yeah, because obviously I had nowhere to go, so I had to move back with my mum, and my mum would take the children to school because I had to work and pick them up. So without the support of my mum, then I don't think I would have been able to get out of that situation at all.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. I mean, first of all, I want to thank you, Yolanda. I think it's amazing hearing your story. And I know, I mean, we've met your children. They're absolutely beautiful. You know, and well done. You've done an absolutely amazing job. And I mean, we here, I mean, we're looking at this. And sometimes, yes, we do get the support from our families and other members of our family. But that is not always the case, you know, and sometimes it's very, very hard. But we're going to actually take a break now. We're going to speak with you. We want to speak a bit about Naomi Campbell's news, and she's got some interesting ideas about bringing up children. We'll have to see if we agree on this. So we'll see you back after the break. Welcome back. Well, Naomi Campbell has reported that she is thinking about having a child without a partner. In other words, she wants to bring up her child by herself, and she's quite happy to not have a father figure around. So it's really interesting to see what we all think about this, and we're going to discuss it with our ladies who's in our show today. Now, first of all, Kim, I mean, what do you think about this?
I know people don't always choose to be single parents, but I think it can be slightly irresponsible for someone to go into having a child or into all I can say is having a child without thinking is the father going to play a role, because she didn't make the child on her own, and I don't think the child came from a sperm bank. So I think it's a little bit irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, some women may say, "Oh, good on you, Naomi Campbell, independent woman, go, go, go." I mean, but the reality of it, there's not going to be a father there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in Verina's case, it was not your choice.
That's right.
This happened to you, and I can understand that. But literally making a decision, don't care if there's a daddy around, not even thinking about whether it's going to affect the child or not. I mean, what do you think, Verina?
Well, I think single parenting is very difficult. And sometimes people want to do it because they have no idea how difficult it is. And I think also if you choose to deliberately become a single parent, you're just making a very selfish decision, because you're not thinking about the child. And the welfare of your child should be paramount at all times.
I mean, I don't know if she's thinking that she may have enough finance and money is going to be able to buy everything that the
But it's
child
not
is going
just
to
all about
require.
money.
But do you think that's going to be enough?
It's not just about money. I mean, you need to be able to provide emotional stability for the child. You need to
That's
be a
right.
role model, you know, psychological support. I mean, parenting, it's a whole package of things. And financial is just a small bit of that package.
Yes,
That's right.
because people can bring up happy families without having a lot of finance.
Exactly.
And then sometimes having a partner there is also for the child, but also for yourself too, because sometimes you need that second opinion, or someone to give you that bit of advice, or someone to give you that kind of help and support to bring the child up. So the child is for the father is for the child, but also for the mother.
I mean, some people may say, well, you know, I've grown up. I've had single parents, grown up with just my mother, or just grown up with just my father, and I've come out very well. You know, it's been fine with me. I mean, what do you say about that, Serena?
In Naomi's case, I don't think she's actually thought about this properly, because her mum was a single mum.
Exactly, you're totally right.
And Naomi's went through many challenges, many issues herself. Why would you want to bring up your own child without a father? It's not just to... you need that support. And no matter how much money you think that you have, you know, you're not going to provide anything, because you need to provide your time. What are you going to sacrifice? Because you're going to have to sacrifice something. All the parties, all the going out, it's no point looking at all the other celebrities and thinking, oh, they can do it, they're doing it. You're a different person. And I believe that Naomi's got loads more issues to sort out before she even...
I mean, she may be thinking that, you know, I can afford to, you know, have a nanny. Or there may be role models of father figures around her. I don't know. She may have men friends that may have a sense of, if she has a son, for example, she can get one of her male friends to take the child out to play football or something like that. I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, some mothers, you know, they may have very close with their siblings, for example, brothers. They may have brothers, so the child may end up having very good, responsible uncles around. Or maybe a very good grandfather who plays a big role in the child's life. Do you think that is enough for a child?
Look, these days you can barely get the father to do their bit, far less any other role model that you can get to get involved in a child's family, a child's life. I think there's a lot of issues. Of course, we're talking about the age, and we're talking about the money, and we're talking about having the father there, but there's other issues of being an older mother. She's supposed to be around 43.
Yeah, she's 42 years old now.
42.
So, you know.
I mean, having a child at that age brings up so many different questions. For example, physically, how's your body going to take that? As you get older, you're getting older, your child is getting older, how does that affect the child? There's things about, the things that I'm not going to be able to do with my child that probably a younger mother can do. I mean, what do you guys think?
I totally agree with you there, Kim, because from my own experience, I had my children in my 20s, and my body has changed. You know, I'm in my 40s now, and I do feel different. My body feels different.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I'm not as flexible or can take as much pressure as I could when I was actually younger in my 20s. I mean, what's your opinion on this?
Well, yeah, I agree with Kim. I mean, I had my first child when I was 19. And then I had my last son at the age of 36. And I compared how my body felt when I was 19 and how I felt when I was 36. And
Right.
36, carrying that pregnancy for 9 months, I felt I would die. It was just so hard because my body, I just felt this huge strain on my body. So I can't imagine at 42 wanting to be pregnant. I mean,
And then not having no one there
not
with
having
you.
anyone to support you, not having, it shouldn't be something, she should have thought about this. Look, I don't want to come across like I'm saying, well, no one should be a single parent. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because
But
some
it should
people
not
naturally
be,
fall into that.
exactly, it should not be a deliberate act. It should not be something that you have chosen to do, because I think she's not thinking about how difficult it is. Yes, she was raised by a single mother, and I also feel now she should go back and have a dialogue with her mom.
I agree.
And find out from her mom how difficult it was raising her. Her mom must have done a very good job because she's turned out to be very successful.
That's right.
But I guarantee you, for her mom, it was a life of sacrifice.
Definitely. I mean, I find that it's quite bizarre when we speak about that somebody would actually put a child through that, just feel they can do that naturally. I mean, Serena, what do you think? What's your take on that?
I think that she's just being quite selfish.
Yeah.
I really don't believe that she's thought about it properly. The sleepless nights. Are you going to get a nanny for the sleepless nights? Are you going to get a nanny for the school run?
She probably will.
Yeah, I was going to say she probably will. Yeah.
How is that going to...
Yeah.
You're not going to bond with your child. I mean, you can still have a nanny and do, but you really need to bond. Is she going to be able to bond with her child?
But what is the influence of a male figure? We're all ladies here, so it's all right for us to say, oh, women, we're so fantastic and we can do everything. We're independent, as we do. We do support ourselves and we do celebrate ourselves as women. But on a serious note, do we not need the men, ladies?
Of course we do.
Especially boys. If she has a boy, then he's going to need that role
Even if it's a
model.
girl, you still need to have. You still need to have that role model there, that male figure there. You need to have that. It's something that you need to have for your child. It's for me. I feel, this is my own personal view, that a child should be raised with two parents.
Yes.
And that's my view.
Yes, I have to agree with you there. I actually know what it's like to be a single mother, and I know the difference of bringing up my children with my husband and us both working together, sacrificing. There's times when even your own self as a parent, you have your emotional times. You have your times when you feel weak and your other partner is there to support you, to give you strength, to give you a word of encouragement, and you feel better as a woman. To have that person beside you, let alone having to discipline children nowadays, because as we all know, it's not easy bringing up children.
No, it's not.
Children can be very, very difficult, especially if you have difficult children. I can remember with my own son, there was times when it was so difficult, and I felt like really pulling my hair out, because I thought at some point I was thinking, my God, am I going to be able to cope with this young man who's going through all his adolescence and everything else? And there was times when only my husband was able to cope with those traumatic times and to be able to even portray the discipline that he actually needed as a young man. I don't know what's your take. You have children.
Yeah, I
Kim.
agree with you 100%, Sam. And I have never had the experience of being a single mother, but sometimes there's moments I'll come in from work, I'll have a day and I just cannot cope. And I just need somebody else just to take over the responsibilities, do the thinking, or even like a day if I'm not well, I just need someone just to do it, just to think, discipline the children, go to that meeting, just help take that responsibility, help share that responsibility with me, give me another opinion, because having to think it all yourself, having to do it all yourself, sometimes it can be a strain. And having that extra person there who's in the same boat with you, cares about the children as much as you do, it really, really helps. So I know some people find themselves in that situation, but to choose to do it, I don't believe people think it through when they choose it.
Yeah, and I'm even thinking about, we cannot predict our lifespan. That's another story, And I think at least, life has no age nowadays. But if you're planning to make a family, you're going to think of it of making a family in your younger days, because you're going to have that full-on experience with your children. And like what you were saying, with your son now. How old's your youngest?
My youngest is 16 now.
He's 16
Yes, he's
now.
16 now.
And obviously, I mean, with our age group, you're in the same. We're in the same age group, but it's not so easy for us to jump out, go to the park, and play volleyball and things.
It's not.
As you would.
I think. About 2 years ago, I was watching a program about this woman, Italian woman, who had children, who had twins when she was 60 years old.
Oh, I saw that.
And then she was dying.
Yeah.
She fell ill, and then she was dying. And I was looking at those children. They were about 2 at the time, and I felt so sorry, because this woman was dying, and she had nobody to take these children, to help her with these children. She had them when she was 60 years old, and I just felt, well, you were selfish then. You made a very selfish decision. You didn't think about those children.
That's right. And I actually think that is the problem. I think it's important when we're making decisions such as serious as this, we need to think about the children. We need to think about that child. What are we going to be able to give back to that child if we don't make the right decisions? I mean, we're going to take a break now, and we're going to join you back, where we will be able to have a chat with our lovely Serena and hear her story. So we'll see you after the break. Welcome to DKW, we're back. Right, we're going to have a chat with our beautiful Serena. She's going to tell us her inspiring story. Hi there, Serena.
Hi, Sam.
Welcome to DKW.
Thank you for
It's
having
lovely
me.
having you on the show today. And actually, your story is actually a bit different, because you don't actually have any children of your own.
No.
But tell us how you became a mother.
Okay, my mum was looking after my nephew. He was about, well, from 18 months really.
Right.
He's my younger brother's child. And it just came to a point where my brother went away, so my mum was constantly had him all the time. And I think at the time she must have been around maybe in her late 40s. And she wasn't really coping that well. And
So because of her age, she found it quite difficult.
but yeah, very difficult.
So you had to actually jump in and help out. Tell us what
I
happened.
didn't actually jump in.
Okay, no.
He was with my brother's girlfriend. They went away for the weekend, and he was like, she just came and said, "Oh, can you have him for the weekend, and I'll come back for him on Monday." Okay, no problem, fine. Well, that's been nearly 9 years now.
What? Oh my word. So she didn't actually come back.
No.
So the responsibility solely became your responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened? Did you have to adopt him, or you became his parental guidance?
Yeah, well, I got a special guardianship order for him, and well, at the time I was working 12 hours in the job that I was doing. So I was used to living a single life, you know, working all the time and then
Yes.
partying, and that was just my life. But I had to put him into care because I couldn't cope with the 12-hour shift plus after school. And
Right.
I mean, there was no. My mum was there, but then maybe every couple of weeks, you know, she'd get in a mood, and then I'd have to switch him from there and then make somebody else pick him up after school. So it was quite difficult. So I had to put him into care. He was there for about 3 years. I had to really fight to get him back up, because where he was, they wanted to adopt him, and I was like, oh no, that can't happen. He has
so
to
you
come
didn't
back
want
to
to
the
lose
family.
him altogether.
Yeah.
So that must have been quite difficult for you. I mean, especially when you land in a situation where you don't have any choice, but you know, you have to have that sense of heart. You have to have a very big heart, in fact, to take on that responsibility. I mean, how many years have you had this young man? How old is he?
I got him back out of care when he was 9. And
Sorry, and how old were you at the time?
I was in my early 30s.
Yes, so you were 30. So you were quite a mature age and responsible enough to take care of him.
Because you don't expect all the work that it involves. I mean, I've got nephews and nieces. I have them for the weekend, for the for the day, and they think, yeah, you have it, and you give them back.
He is not the same, is it?
I couldn't give this one back. He was with me constantly, and I suppose he did help me to go, because I really didn't have any patience or any time for really anybody else but myself. So here was this 5-6-year-old demanding my attention. I had to go and pick him up. He depended on me.
Right, and that's the thing. He
That was
depended on you. I mean, how did you deal with that? Because you were becoming a mother.
I found it very difficult because, like I said at the time, while we was fighting to get him out of care, you have to prove that you've got a good support network, and everybody was so supportive while I was fighting to get him out. But when I got him, I had, oh, you're a useless mum, you're not doing a good work, and you're not his mum, don't tell him what to do. And that kind of, I started to feel that.
To you?
My mum was saying that to me.
Oh.
He's not your child, when his dad comes, he's going to take him back. And, that was fine. But
so that was a little bit of pressure there for you.
Like, discourage what I was doing. And, I started to think that, I would never do this again, because to try and bring up a child and then you've got the rest of the family dictating that you need to do this, you need to do that. No, he lives with me. I need to do what works for us. Mm-hmm. They only wanted to help when it suited them, but I wanted you to help when
you actually
I needed it.
The help.
And because sometimes I never asked for it when they wanted it, then it was like, oh, you didn't want him to come last week, so we're busy now. Like, but no, I wasn't working last week, so I could take care of him myself, but I'm working this week and I need your help now.
Oh, right. So you were actually working part-time, full-time?
I was working full-time, and when I had to put him into care, like I said to my managers, like, look, I need to cut down my hours and blah, 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 but we had to keep going to meetings and we had to do care plans, and it took 3 years, and by the time I got him back, the work situation was a bit different, because they diagnosed him with ADHD.
Right, so that must have been
difficult.
Yeah. Very difficult for
So I had
you.
a school bus to pick him up from my house, and they would drop him off to my mum's house, and I'd leave work about maybe 7:30, go to my mum's house, bring him at home. So we'd get in about after 8 or 9, or sometimes when I was really tired, I used to send a cab to my mum's house, put him in the cab. They didn't like to do it because they said they couldn't do it until the child was about 10.
Right.
But because I used the cab station all the time, they said, okay, then we'll do it because it's you. But it wasn't something that was allowed. But, in other days, I had to go there from work. I was tired, come back home, cook.
I mean, but overall, you became a mother, supporting a child. I mean, how did that feel for you? Because being a mother, you have to take on that sense of responsibility. You have to put that child as your first priority. It's no longer about
me,
about yourself. You cannot think as a single woman anymore. And what was that transition with you, suddenly having to change from a single woman to become a mother? I mean, how did you cope with that?
I cried a lot.
Did you really?
I did. I cried a lot because many times I couldn't cope. I couldn't understand why, everyone was there. There was no support there. And like Miss Verena said, you find the strength from somewhere. You don't actually know where it comes from. But I always used to look at him and think, he deserves better. He has no mother, he has no father that are around, because they're not passed away. Both of them are still living.
Yes.
But he's there by himself. He's got all his own emotions, all his own issues going on inside, and he wasn't. Even now, sometimes he's not at that age where he expresses so much. It really takes a lot for him to, open up and say something. So, I mean, at that age, 9, 10. 6, 7, he had his own issues. Why am I not with my mum? Why am I not with my dad? Why am I not with the rest of the family? Why am I here? Blah, blah, blah. So I had to be strong for him.
Of course.
And of course I had to be strong for myself, because if I broke down, because there was many times that I just wanted to give up and I was really tired.
Yes,
and
as many mothers, even mothers,
yes.
Single mothers, married mothers, they all experience this at some point.
But I don't know, like I said, I don't know where the strength come from, but I just knew that I had to keep on going. There were days when I said, I'm tired, I'm giving up, I'm giving him back to social services, but then, the next day, like, no, he's not going back, he's staying here. And
Was there particular strategies or tools that you would use? Did you do parental classes, or I mean, who taught you to be a parent? I mean, because nowadays we don't get taught. Usually, as a parent, we learn by our own parents, you know. And if you didn't always get a good parental upbringing, you know, where would it come from?
We had a good upbringing, and I'd done many things that my mum used to do with us, but it just really never worked, because it was just different. It was really different, and I don't know. It was just always portrayed like, he's not your child. He's not your child, and that kind of made me draw back.
I mean, how was your relationship with him? How have you bonded together over
It took
the years?
a long time to bond, because, like I said, I pulled back because he wasn't my child, and because they kept on saying that he's not your child. You know, you don't have no right to say this or that. I pulled back, and so that there was a gap there. So, you know, in the end, I just, you know, I had to kind of open up myself and help him to open up, and our relationship is a lot better than what it was before.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you very much for sharing that with us, Serena. And I'm sure this young man, he will love you forever, because, you know, many women wouldn't do what you did. And that's where we're going to end our show today. I'd like to just thank all our guest presenters who came in and joined us today. Kim, Verena, Serena, and our lovely Yolanda, who was with us. But on a serious note, you know, we are celebrating us women. You know, it's very inspirational to be a woman that really does sacrifice for her family, for her children, and it is wonderful. And we would like to wish every mother out there a happy Mother's Day. Celebrate, have a wonderful time, and keep up the good work, because you deserve a medal, more than a medal. So thank you very much for watching us, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.